Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with a post-ban matchup with our good old Soul Sisters. This is a keepable hand. It's kind of awkward. I wish we would either have a first turn drop for the Giant's Primate or a Sarah's Ascendant in our opening hand, but we'll go ahead and keep this. I will play a Martyr of Sands first turn. This forces him to actually take care of it before I start gaining life. And if Martyr Sands takes a removal spell, it's done its job. It looks like we're going to play against Affinity. We have a very, very powerful hand against Affinity with the Path to Exile. And Inkmoth Nexus can be a problem, but usually this is a pretty easy matchup for Soul Sisters. The double Path to Exile is going to make it very hard for him to come back from this. So Martyr's going to keep us out of any sort of danger. I might just Martyr next turn. He had to mulligan. He's got a double Inkmoth Nexus hand, so we've got double pass for the double Inkmoth. And no Mox Opal. He wasn't able to barf out his hand on first turn. I'm thinking he might be a little bit land flooded. There's the Springleaf Drum. That's not really going to help him out too much. In fact, Springleaf Drums are kind of weak against our hand. I mean, it's good for Cranial Plating to add one more. And I guess even if he is running the Thought Cast. But Signal Pest, again, is not going to be an issue. I'm just going to try to beat him down. So the Martyr doesn't need to be sacrificed next turn. I'm just going to go ahead and throw out an Auric Champion. Unless I get a Sarah's Ascendant, then of course we go that route. So there's a Soul Warden, so we can actually keep up a path in Soul Warden. But which might actually be the right play, because we could still kill the Martyr as well. I think the Auric Champion is the exact same as his Giant's Primate. We don't want to play it quite yet. So let's play a Soul Warden and go ahead and attack in with a Martyr. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So we have 15 life. We're most likely going to gain next turn unless he activates an Inkmoth Nexus. Then we'll get rid of it. So if he goes Cranial Plating, Inkmoth Nexus, that's the route. Yeah, I thought he was a little bit land flooded with his hand. This is the reason I don't like Affinity. They get these draws that are just like, you could lose to a Pauper, well, Pauper is actually very powerful. You could lose to a draft deck when they get draws like this. This just way too much mana. Yep, here comes the Inkmoth Nexus. He has to go the Infect route, and we'll just do that instead. So he'll attack in. With the Signal Pest. And we'll go ahead and just path off an Inkmoth. So we're taking 2 Infect and 2 life is all. Down to a 17. And he goes up back to a 20. But he has 1 card left in hand. He's playing a very greedy, no basic lands build. So he wasn't able to get anything with the path. And I guess that's okay. I think that do we just go Pridemate here to apply some pressure? Or do I just keep up? Let's put out another Martyr. Because we're not in any hurry here. He's down to an 18. So he needs to draw into like Inkmoth after Inkmoth after Inkmoth. He needs all of his Inkmoths if he's going to have a chance here. But he activates another Inkmoth. And poor him, they are going to get pathed. And again, he has no basic land. And I just take some life. Which life is 0 issue with double Martyrs. So there's a Plains. This doesn't really do much. I think I'm just going to Auric Champion here. And swinging for 3. So he needs that other Inkmoth. And then I might be a little bit of an issue just because I kind of had a clunky slow start too with all the Martyrs. Ornithopter comes out. Again, that's going to do little. In fact, it gains me some life. And we'll just yield to these triggers. And I think he might actually just need to go on the no, he can't go on the defensive. 2 cards left in his hand, though. I wonder what those are. Get in for 2. But we're going to have a huge Pridemate next turn. And do you know what? I think I just Ranger here, actually. Use my mana correctly. And we're going to go get 2 Sarah's Ascendants. So Sarah Ascendant 1, Sarah Ascendant 2. Gain some life. And attacking with the team. Now he could draw into like a Whip Flare or something like that. I think Whip Flare has lost value since the ban, post-ban. Whip Flare is really good against the young Pyromancers and Delvers and those sorts of things. But post-ban, there's really no reason to sweep 2 damage cards, when especially going against decks like Junk and Splinter Twin. Whip Flare is very, very weak here in this metagame. I guess it's not too shabby versus the Merfolk, but Merfolk can easily get out of Whip Flare range within a few turns. He continues to attack in, which is annoying with all the flyers. Gets him back up to a 19. So this is going to be just a kind of long, grindy game. But the later this game goes, the better it is for me. There's a Return to the Ranks that will help me recover from any sort of board wipe. And now my Pridemate's going to outclass his Master of Ethereum. Especially as a... Yeah, it's going to be like a 9-9. Or wait, so 6... 8-8 it's going to be. So yeah, as Master Ethereum can't swing in now. He's going to have to leave back a blocker for his... In fact, I could attack in here and just return the ranks 2 guys back, but that's not... Yeah, that's no way to go about it. I might do it next turn with this Sarah's Ascendant just to gain some life and just kind of try to get me above that 30. Because he's still being obnoxious with this Signal Pest and Vault Scourge. But he really has some bad draws. He just decides to scoop. I mean, we're still far away from actually winning. I mean, Johnny's Pridemate is going to just continue to smack into him. But anyway, so in this matchup, Martyr, I don't know if is the right play. Celestial Flare's not too bad. Neither is Wrath of God. Wrath of God can... The problem against his deck, though, is they just load up on one guy. So Auric Champions can absolutely come out. They're unnecessary here. Sundering Growth can come in. We can bring in the Stony Silences. Suppression Field's actually not too bad. It makes I might even bring in Blind Obedience just to test it. Blind Obedience will make all this stuff come in and play tapped. I think that the play here, we can take out Return of the Ranks. It's very weak, and we can take out a Martyr. And again, I could bring in the Celestial Flares aren't terrible, the Suppression Fields aren't terrible, the Pain He's actually aren't terrible, and neither is the other Martyr. So we have a very good list versus him. Neither is the Return of the Ranks, but we want to keep up with him. And now we've got 6 removal for him and a Blind Obedience that will gain us some life and tap down stuff. I think this is fine. Again, Blind Obedience can be very problematic for him too if we get it out before he can flood his hand. Now this I'm actually going to keep. It seems pretty good. Well, we don't have a Path to Exile. Windbrace Heights. Yeah, I'm still going to keep this though. Now this is very on the border of keepable. If this was a... No, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it and just hope that we draw into a land. He could just spit out his entire hand. We got the Blind Obedience. He could have the Install Artifact draw too. Yep, so he's going to spit out his hand on turn number... No, he does not. Okay. But we have no turn number 1. Signal Pest does not do anything turn 1. Sunder Growth will be nice. Let's hope we don't see 4 lands here. We see only 1 land. Spectral Procession is the obvious choice here. And we throw those down. So we need to draw into a land. If we draw into a land next turn, we'll be very good. I might just Blind Obedience, to be honest. But it doesn't look like Install Artifact's going to come out. Arcbound Ravager, so he's got a pretty decent... I don't know why. Yeah, attacking does nothing. So we do get the planes. We luck out. I could Arcbound Ravager, not right now. There's going to be Soul's Attendant. And Sarah Ascendant. And this puts some pressure on him. Again, he's only going to be winning against Soul Sisters with Infect, most likely. Next turn, again, another land would be very, very good next turn. But next turn we can go either Sarah's Ascendant, we can go Sundering Growth. We can get rid of this Master of Ethereum. Master Ethereum is going to be the right play to Sundering Growth. He's going to attack him with everything. Now I could kill the Arcbound Ravager and just be done with it. And that actually might be the right play. No, because he can just sacrifice anything. So that'd be silly. Down to a 16, but life is usually not an issue with this deck. We will Sundering Growth here. He'll sack it to the Arcbound Ravager. And we'll get in for 2. So far so good. Once we just draw into those excess lands, we'll be able to cast everything in our hand. The other Sundering Growth is fine. He's going to sacrifice a Mox Opal to play another Mox Opal. And he's going to attack in with everything. Which does 10. We're down to a 10, so actually we need to draw a land here very, very bad. And we did not. So I think the right play is just leave Sundering Growth back. He can just throw stuff on his Arcbound Ravager is the problem. We might just need to leave our Soul Attendant back. Honor the Pure actually makes our guys bigger, makes me gain 2 life. Yeah, I think I just need a Sundering Growth, his Signal Pest. But, I mean, this is Memnite. I'm just going to go do it right now. He'll sacrifice it the Arcbound Ravager. But we can block that guy all day long. Well, actually not. We can't block this all day long. But the Signal Pest is doing the most damage at the moment. So now we're just only going to take 5 here. Do have to worry about those flyers. Another card that is not going to do anything. I think we will just... The Sarah Ascendant gets out the... When we attack and we'll get out the... I think I do still attack in with the Sarah's Ascendant here. I hope he blocks the Memnite. No, he does not. So can he do 9 damage in 1 turn? Next turn he sacks everything, the Arcbound Ravager. The Ornithopter. Let's see. I think we should be really good here if he... So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have to block? That sucks because I want to get the Spectral Processions out. Because if I don't block, you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I do. So we'll block here at the Sarah Ascendant. And that'll net us exact life as we're losing. And then see if he puts out another thing this turn. Yeah, this is going to be tough. 2 mana, another Arcbound Ravager. That's going to be very rough for us. We need that. Right here, if we draw another land, we'll be able to Spectral Procession. But we cannot draw a land to save our life. We'll honor the Pure. And I think I still have to just leave everything back. He's getting so close just with his flyers to kill me off. Activating his Blink Moth. Can he sack everything to the Blink Moth? Yeah, this is just terrible. Well, we drew the 1 land, which was lucky, but look at all these high drops that we drew. And this is, you can't do this versus Affinity. Again, if just 1 Spectral Procession's out and I could block for 3 turns and the Saracen can go on the backswing. So there's 3. Did he just do this wrong? Yeah, I think he might have just screwed up. But I think he's still okay. Because at 7... Yeah, I think he just screwed up. He's going to give me a... Couldn't he just have just pumped it all up, sacked everything, and pumped it all up to the Blink Moth? Oh, Galvanic Blast. Okay, so I'm down to a 6, and I can't block either one of those. Okay, so we're going to draw lands this time. I might just get rid of Rangers. No, I don't need to. Suppression Field actually... So activate abilities, unless they're mana abilities, this actually does affect his Inkmoth Nexuses. I'm going to take out 2 Rangers and bring in Suppression Fields. And then see how well those work versus them. So I'm going to submit this. And yes, we'd like to play first. And this is silly, but we'll do it. The Suppression Field will affect my own Windburst Heights. Path to Exile is fine. In this, Spectral Procession on the Pure is really good. So we'll put another Spectral Procession underneath. Throw these away. And see if he spits out his hand again. Inkmoth Nexus again is probably going to be the path target. But just a Vault Scourge. And a Memnite. There's a Plains. A Plains could actually put out the Suppression Field. But I think Windburst Heights is fine here. And we'll end up pathing something. There's another Path to Exile. There's an Honor the Pure, I think is the more powerful card. Next turn we can put out the Spectral Processions. And it just looks like he's going to swing in. I don't think we need a path yet. Neither of these are problematic cards. And there's the problematic card. So we'll go ahead and get rid of the Signal Past. And he's got double Lifelinkers out. But those are going to be weak versus the Spectral Procession. And I think this is the right play, is just to put out Spectral Procession. Now he has a rough time attacking in. And next turn we can put out the Honor of the Pure. If we draw into one more land, we can get double. We can actually get the other Spectral. In fact, we'll actually probably just attack in and put out another Spectral Procession. So Steel Overseer, we're on a clock now with this. Other than, I might just need to put out a Suppression Field. Because he's not attacking in, absolutely not attacking in. I could actually fly over top with the other one. We do get a Plains anyway, so there's a couple of things we can do here. Yep, it's going to be Honor the Pure. and then attacking with everything. Put in another one. And now he's in a really awkward position with whether attacking with Vault Scourge or not. I will absolutely block him if that's the case. Seal Overseer is just going to continue to put probably counter. He wants counters on Ink Moth and Blink Moth. Cranial Plating. That makes the Ink Moth Nexus kind of scary. And I'm going to absolutely block that if he attacks in. Why? Okay, he wants to... You know what? This is against Affinity. We'll make this trade any day of the week. It makes your cranial trading worse. Yeah, he's going to activate the Seal Overseer. But it's a third of a card for one card. Now, Windburst Heights can come out. Do we need the mana for everything? I think we do. Let's see. So 1, 2 for the Honor of the Pure. Yeah, so it won't matter. So Windburst Heights. And I guess I should have... No, because he's going to block no matter what. We'll put another Spectral Processions underneath this last Windburst Heights. And go ahead and pull this Honor of the Pure out. And then we will... How much can he do? 4, 8, 12, 16. If he doesn't block correctly here, he could just die. I don't think I have any... Yeah, we just attack him with everything. So that's 20 damage that goes through. He's down to a 1. So did I do this math wrong? Can he get his Ink Moth big enough to do enough in one turn? He might be able to. He only has 4 artifacts, though. Arcbound Ravager is not going to do it. Just going to gain some life here. I don't think that will do much. Yeah, I don't think that does anything. And we'll actually Suppression Field right now. This forces him to Overseer. But now he can't Arcbound Ravager either. So he's going to sack everything. To the Arcbound Ravager. Seal Overseer gets sacked. He's got to put on the Vault Scourge. Is that what he's trying to do? And no, it's a 4/4. And he just screwed up miserably bad. Yeah, he's supposed to put on the other one. But so you see how Affinity is quite an easy matchup. I think Suppression Field's not too terrible against Affinity. Maybe we'll have to consider putting that in more often, as it shuts down a lot of problematic cards in the Affinity deck, like the Arcbound Ravager. Again, I don't know if it's worth it, though. But in that case, it was. In that case, the card could have been anything, though, and it probably would have been very relevant against that matchup. So Affinity isn't 100% auto win, but it's usually pretty easy, especially if you go Squadron Hawks. It makes it that much better, because Squadron Hawks are another thing that can block the Ink Moth Nexus, and it gives you like 4 turns of blocking and thins out your deck as far as puts a bunch of Squadron Hawks in your hand. It's a very good target for Return to the Ranks. So if Affinity is really big, we could easily put the Squadron Hawks in the main board. And I have to wait and see if Ranger is actually worthwhile to put as 4-ofs. Ranger is incredibly against Delver, and it's incredibly against UWR, and incredibly against Junk. But if UWR and Delver end up not being very big decks, then we will go more of the Squadron Hawk route rather than the Ranger of Eos route. And then Squadron Hawk is fine versus Junk and UWR as well. So, yeah. Anywho, like I said, pretty mediocre matchup. This has been Ken with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.